Check, check. Oh, there we are. Hey, we're going to make this quick so that we don't take too much of your time. My name is Aaron. I am one of the directors here on 1112, and this is Bobby.
I'm Bobby. Hi, nice to meet you. I'm also on staff here in 1112.
Yeah. So you guys have all gotten a packet. We're just going to be pretty much walking through that packet, explaining the itinerary of the trip, and then what not to bring, what to bring. We added some frequently asked questions at the end. But if you do have any questions, we'll take them after we're done going through the packet. But yeah, we're just going to start. Okay, this is a trip that North Coast has done previously. This is not the first time that we're doing houseboats on Lake Shasta, but the last time we did it was, 15 years ago or something like that. Come on. There we go.
There it is. So we're going to ask you all the questions.
Yeah, that's right. Anybody ask a question, you come up here. Yeah, so we actually have Dave Enns is one of the life group pastors. He's coming on this trip, and he was one of those people who ran the trip 15 years ago. So we also have Travis Cyber and Andy Naw who are going on this trip.
Great.
So if you're looking at us and you go, you look way too young. You're right. We are.
Yes.
But we have all the responsible people coming as well.
Yes.
So you're in good hands. Yeah, we're going to start off on Saturday, the 26th. So we, for the past couple of trips, have enjoyed kind of getting luggage the night before so that we're not trying to stuff everything the day of as we try to leave. So on the 26th, Saturday night at 2:30, thanks, Hannah, we're going to open up a luggage drop-off here in the 1112 room. So you guys will just come here. We'll have the trailers here. You'll check in, and then we'll put all the luggage, so the overnight things, obviously, keep your toothbrush at home. You're going to need to brush your teeth that night. Keep your deodorant, okay? You're going to be in a van for the next 8 hours, so don't bring your...
Please wear deodorant.
Please wear deodorant. But anything that you don't need or, extra clothes or whatever, we're going to pack in the trailer that night. That'll be from 2:30 to 3:30 on Saturday. If you can't make that time, it's not the end of the world. It's just for us to have to do less luggage loading on Sunday morning when we're trying to leave at 8 a.m.
Yeah, and to that, our staff will be here for service Saturday night. So if it really is that I can't be there in that window, let us know, and we can try and accommodate as much as we can, push it to Saturday rather than Sunday. That'd be helpful. But yeah, like Aaron said, Sunday can happen if we need it to be.
Yeah, sweet. Any questions on that? All right. Sunday morning, we're going to ask that you drop your students off here at 7 a.m. bright and early. We're going to try to beat the services before people start parking or whatever. So we're going to meet right here outside of the 1112 room. We'll have all the vans and trucks and everything lined up. There's 13 7-passenger vans, 3 15-passenger vans, and 4 trucks going. The trucks are hauling 2 trailers and 2 boats for us, like wakeboarding boats. So we'll meet here at 7 a.m., load everything else that needs to be loaded, get in the vans, and we're hoping to be out on the road by 8 a.m. before services even start. Anything to add on that?
No, locked and loaded on that one.
Come on. So, yeah, we're going after we leave at 8 a.m., we're just heading up to one of the most infamous lunch spots of North Coast summer camps, and that's Laval Road. It's kind of like right above LA. There's a little spot with In-N-Out and Chipotle, Panda Express. There's just a bunch of stuff there. So we'll stop there for lunch around 11-ish. We'll be there. And we'll stop for about an hour and a half, and then we'll get back in the cars and head up to El Dorado Hills. If you don't know, North Coast has a new campus in El Dorado Hills. So we're going to be staying at a North Coast campus all the way up by Sacramento. And we'll spend the night there. So we'll get to El Dorado, have dinner, and then, set up the night. It's going to be super basic, like set up your sleeping bag, and that's pretty much it. Take only what you need out of the trailers because we're going to be getting ready to leave again in the morning. If you've done Whitewater, this is similar, where you spend the night at a church and then get up the next morning. We finish the drive. Shasta is, I believe, a 13-hour drive straight.
Long haul.
So we didn't want to kill the students before we got there, so we decided to stay the night at El Dorado. That night we might, depending on how late, depending on traffic and whatever else we run into, we might do like a small worship program night, or we might just have Kajabi and play games and just stay up, till 11, whatever it might be. Lights out at 11. Monday morning, we're waking up bright and early again at 6:30. and we're going to load the trailers up with all the luggage that was unloaded that night, and we're going to head up to Jones Valley. Well, actually, we're heading up to Redding. I don't know why this is Jones Valley. We're going to, you can cross that out. We're going to head up to Redding, which is a stop just 30 minutes out of the lake. There, we're going to have lunch. So we'll be there from like 11:30 to 2:30 probably. So we're going to have lunch, and then they're going to do shopping or whatever. The reason that they're going to stay there for longer is because we can't get the houseboats on the water until 3. We can't check them in until 3. So we'll spend some time in Redding. We were there. It's actually, you think of Redding, you're like, hillbilly country town in the middle of nowhere. It's
and
not.
It's
actually...
it is, but it isn't.
It is, but it isn't. And it kind of feels like home away from home a little bit. Just dead rolling grass hills instead of sunny beach. So we'll be there for 2 hours, and then we'll head up to Jones Valley Marina, where we will check in the houseboats. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to pull up the trailers and everything. Everybody will unload their luggage. There will already have been a party of people who have taken one of the houseboats and went and claimed one of the spots on the lake. Everybody else is going to take everything that wasn't loaded onto that one houseboat. They're going to load it onto the other 5 houseboats. And everybody's just going to drive out and meet the other person who claimed a spot on the lake. We also have 4 other boats. So we have 2 tubing boats and 2 wakeboarding boats. So if anybody doesn't fit on the houseboats, they'll just be going on those speedboats, and we'll head out to the spot on the lake, which is the spot we're hoping. Okay, you can't claim any spot on the lake, unfortunately, but we scoped out a few spots, and there's 2 of them especially that are like, this is nice. We hope we get those. So, and those are like about 30 minutes with the houseboat. It's probably 5 minutes with a speedboat. And the houseboats, I learned, have 0.5 miles per gallon. They're pretty slow. So, pretty close to the marina, not too far. In case something does happen, we'll be able to hop on a speedboat and go straight to the marina and get people where they need to go. That night on Monday, we will, as soon as we get to the marina, get in the houseboats, get out to the spot on the lake, we're going to start dinner. We'll have program that night, first night of teaching. We'll do life groups that night. And then we'll just hang out until it says a night activity. So we might do like s'mores or, I don't know, belly flop competition in the night, whatever it is. And then lights out at 11. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday are all the same. So we'll wake up at 7 a.m., do breakfast at 7:30. We'll sign up for boats. So they'll get to go, hey, I want to go on a wakeboarding boat this time, or I want to go on a tubing boat this time, or whatever. Do a morning devo. Jam time is Jesus and me time. Our pastor Anthony, who's on paternity leave right now, that's his thing, Jesus and me time. They'll get on the boats, and then pretty much from 10 until 5:30 is boating runs or free time. So it's like, we know 11th and 12th graders, okay, they're not junior hires anymore. They don't need to be given something to do every 5 seconds. They kind of just want to hang out. They just want to talk. They just want to be with their friends. And so we try to have the most space for them to either be on a boat or you're going to be hanging out at the houseboat. We'll also be on land, like the houseboats will be docked on land. So there will be things to do on the shore. Spike ball or cross net, or if you want to throw a football, or you can just kind of get in the water by the houseboats. So lots of free time for community. And then we'll do dinner program, life groups, night activity, and lights out. Those 3 days are kind of our core 3 days on the lake. They all look the same. Any questions so far? Bobby, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I feel like we're going to talk about this in a little bit, but maybe on those first couple days when you saw us on those travel days, I'm gonna address the elephant in the room early on, and I'll take it from Aaron so that he doesn't have to. But we have it set up similar to Whitewater, for those of you who had students going to Whitewater, where during the travel days, we do ask that the students bring money with them for food and for anything like that. Also, another fun thing with that is we when we went to go check the lake, had little floaties, and it makes a world of a difference because you can just relax on so we're going to give them the opportunity to go. I think it's a Winco and a Target in the area where we stop. So we put on here money for 9 meals. There's actually 8 meals total, but I don't know if your kids are anything like me when I was in middle school and high school, but my first day of my middle school East Coast trip, I called my mom and said, I spent all my money, Mom. I'm sorry. I'm much more wise with my finances now. But we encourage that extra buffer so that they have that room. But yes, if you have questions about that, we would love to talk about that. You can come up to us and ask us like more questions about that also. But there will be stops regularly. One, to give our drivers rest breaks, but also because your kids are going to be eating on the drives up to the location as well.
Yeah, if you want specifics, that's lunch and dinner the first night, breakfast and lunch the second day, and then the same on the way back. Those are just while we're traveling. We don't have a kitchen that's unfolding out of our trailer to cook stuff, so we're just gonna stop at the restaurants. Any questions on that? Pushback. Tell me you hate me. Any of those? All right. Friday is the day that we're going to leave the lake. So we're going to wake up earlier than the other days at 6:30. We'll pack up. We'll do like a continental breakfast or something quick. And then we have to get the boats back to the marina by 9. So we're just going to pack up everything, get it back to the marina. At 9:45, once all the trailers are loaded and everything, we'll head back or we'll leave the marina. And we're going to go get lunch in Folsom. That's like 15 minutes away from El Dorado. After we get lunch, we'll drive over to El Dorado again, like 15-minute drive, and we'll spend the day at that El Dorado Hills campus. So we're gonna have all types of activities to do, Kajabi and 9 Square and whatever. It's also, if you look on the maps, El Dorado Hills campus is kind of in the middle of a shopping center, so it's in walking distance of if you want to go, I don't know, get Chipotle or whatever it is. Like all that stuff is near. The youth pastor of that campus was telling us that they play games on their mid-group night where it's like almost like a Easter egg hunt of the shopping center where they go and find stuff. So it's all within that super close perimeter. We'll be hanging out at the El Dorado Hills campus and then get dinner in Folsom again, sleep the night at El Dorado. We're doing a talent show that night. It's classic. It really should be called the Talent List Show because there's like 3 people who have really good talents, and then everything else, you're like, oh, all right, that was good. Lights out at 11, and then the last day, Saturday, we're going to wake up at 6:30 early so that we can get home as soon as possible. 7:30 breakfast. We'll leave El Dorado Hills by 8:30-ish. Head down to Laval Road, that lunch stop that we first stopped at on the way up. Get lunch, and then head home at around 2-ish. So we're hoping you can't quote us on anything here because traffic is unpredictable, but we're hoping to be home around 5:36. That was the earlier time that Google Maps gave me. So I'm going to be optimistic and assume it's probably not going to be 5:30 to 6. It's probably going to be 6:37. But we have a remind that we'll send out for you guys to get live updates. So we'll text you while we're on the road and say, hey, we're an hour away or whatever.
Which I'm actually I'm skipping around a little.
Yeah.
Since we're talking about it right now. If you look to the next, it should be a couple pages later, I think 2 pages later, there's a section that actually says remind update. So the app itself has changed the way that it functions. So normally what we've always done is we would just tell you here's a code to text and you could get text updates. If you are not a part of an actual school now, you cannot do text versions of updates. It has to be through the actual app. So we put there the steps for you guys to download the app and what the link could be, or it could still be the same code, but you actually have to do it in the app or else you won't actually get those updates. It won't let us text those updates anymore. So if you're banking on the text version, it doesn't exist anymore. So we put that in there for you. I just wanted to throw it in there now.
Yeah, so make sure if you want those updates, you're putting the notifications on for that app or else you're not going to know when we text you. But yeah, thank you, Fabi. That is super helpful. Any questions on that? When we get back on Saturday, please be here around the time that the kids get here. It's super awkward when there's one student and they're there for like 2 hours after everybody else has left already, and they're like, I just want to go home. It's like, I'm so sorry. Me too. But yeah, so just get there when we get there or as soon as you can. The next thing is any questions on itinerary? I know I keep asking this a lot, but before we move on. Yes. Yeah, great question. I would do everything you can to drop off your student and not let them park their cars here. If they do have to park their cars here, yes, I believe, Trav, am I mistaken that they will park in this lot over here? Yeah. Yeah. And yes, we will let security know if we'll let them know that that's where we told the students to park. But if you can, please drop off your students so that they don't have to leave their car here. That would be the best case scenario. Any other questions? Sweet. Okay. So camp rules. These are just kind of the basic things that we expect of your student. And so it's to be at all meals and meetings. Okay, no, don't don't be sleeping in the houseboat when we're doing program. It's be respectful of all. That means leaders, students, the in and out cashier. Right? We just want people to be respectful of whoever they're in front of. Number 3 is stay within the camp boundaries or where you're supposed to be. So the way the camp is, okay, and I don't have a picture of it, but we'll pull up to a cove or some kind of spot on the shore, and it's separate from, there's like no roads around there. It's kind of just, you're in the wilderness. Like I said, not too far away from the marina because we want to be close in case something happens. Obviously, we hope that nothing happens, but it's kind of, it's like a mountain almost. The water level is high, but it's not all the way up, and so it's kind of just this hill of trees. So there's really nowhere for your student to go. They're just going to go into the forest, if anything, but they really shouldn't be leaving the campground at all. The houseboats are the main attraction. It's going to be 100+ degrees there, so if they want to go explore in the forest, we're just going to ask if they take a leader with them, but they're probably not going to go very far anyway because they'll die of heat stroke. Yeah, next thing is no PDA, no pranks. We have this rule at North Coast is that no pranks, because one prank, somebody has to one-up how they got pranked, and then they have to one-up how they got pranked, and everybody has to one-up each other, and then before you know it, it went from, shooting somebody with a rubber band to firing a, firework at one of the houseboats or something like that. It's every camp I've been a part of, it escalates that fast. So we're just going to say no pranks, and that's hard for our staff because we like to prank each other. So we're just going to say nothing. Don't bring anything to prank anybody. Don't plan any pranks because we want to protect the property. We want to protect the people, and we don't want anybody to be embarrassed or hurt. No phones. This is a big thing. We believe that a week away from their phone is the best thing for them, or one of the best things for them, to get away from the screens, get away from the distractions. It could be really easy for them to just sit in the houseboat and scroll Instagram the entire week, and we don't want that for them. We know that that raises questions about, okay, well, how am I supposed to contact my kid? What if, I want to check in on them? And on the back of your packet, there's emergency contacts. So there's Travis's number, my number, Fabi's number, and another one of our staff members, Hannah. I don't know if she's in the room. She's over there somewhere. All of our numbers are on the back of the packet, so if you have any questions or you want to check in on your kid, we just ask that you text us instead, just so that we can protect your student from being distracted the whole week. Yeah, any questions about that? Any pushback? Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So we have a medic who's going to be on the trip with us. He's the same medic who went to Guatemala with us. He's been a firefighter for years and years. His name's Bobby. He's awesome, super on it. And so we do have here there's like an FAQ section of just kind of what that process would look like for you. Of course, in the moment, he's going to try and respond as quickly as possible in the moment. If it's a non-emergency situation, we're going to try and handle it as best we can in the moment. Of course, though, emergency situations, if you need to be contacted, we're going to contact you as soon as possible. We also looked into, hospitals in the area. I know we're doing boating activities, so that always raises flags of what if something bad happens. We've looked into it. There's like 5 hospitals right near us in Redding. So Aaron looked that up. We've got which ones they are locked down. But we're going to have helmets for them also while they're doing their tubing. We're going to have life jackets, all of those things. But Bobby is amazing and like truly way too qualified to be doing this trip for us for free. So we are very glad to have him with us. But he'll be taking care also. But yes, we'll reach out to you also.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. You mean regards to like safety precautions or them running in the forest? Yeah. Totally.
Yeah, great question.
Yeah.
So they're put into small groups, so it's just easier to keep track of 7 people instead of 150 people, right? And so as we're traveling in vans, right, when they get assigned to a van, that van driver will make sure that everybody's in their car before we leave. And then whenever we're at camp, if somebody goes missing, it's going to be pretty hard for them to be gone long without somebody noticing. We're all in different life groups, and so we're all, when we meet at night or in the morning or whatever, we're going to be looking around and going, okay, everybody here? It's just, again, there's not really much place for them to run. It'd be pretty hard for them to run while we're at camp. It's during the travel that's going to be, okay, we're going to have radios and be like, everybody have everybody? All right, let's go before we leave, so.
Yeah, to that note, he's so right. There's not much place for them to run, but of course, with high schoolers, where there's a will, there's a way. So we're taking 2 racks worth of walkie-talkies. Every van's going to have a walkie-talkie because we know that the cell service, half our staff had very good cell service when we went out there on the lake. So we're hoping that that's the case again. But regardless, we're going to do check-ins also each night and have each life group leader confirm with us that all of their kids are in the spot they're supposed to be. Our staff is also, for sleeping arrangements, being pretty specific. It's not going to be free-for-all, so we'll know this group is supposed to be on this boat, this group is supposed to be in this situation, wherever they may be, so we can check in and make sure specifically are all heads counted for each night and at each activity, which is why that rule exists of be at all meals and at all activities and meetings, so that we know we've got eyes on these kids. It was similar to, we did a Zion trip where we went on hikes. And so that was also a big concern there. We're going into nature. How are we going to keep track of these kids? But our leaders are amazing at that. They care. Same thing with when we were in Guatemala in a foreign country. They are on top of making sure they're counting their duckies in a row and getting back to us on that. So that is power in numbers for sure, with making sure they're all getting back.
Yeah, and just this is a North Coast rule, but just so you guys know, for every 4 students, there's a leader. We actually have even more leaders than that. So there's plenty of adults on this trip. There's lots of people, lots of eyes everywhere. Because we also want the safety and the best for your kid as well. So, you guys are in good hands, and we shouldn't be losing anybody.
Yeah.
Haven't yet. I'm going to knock on wood on that one. And then the last camp rule is this. It's no weapons, no drugs, no alcohol, anything of that sort. Obviously, I don't think that you're sending your kids with weapons or drugs or anything like that. But we'll give them one opportunity before we head out on Sunday morning and be like, hey, this is your last chance. If you have something, bring it to me. And if they give it to me, then they get to go. But if we find them with a weapon or drugs or anything, we're going to send them home. That's going to be no excuses, no second chances. You had your chances to not bring this. We gave you a chance before we left to turn it in. If you still have it after that, you're just going to go home. So we're going to have to call you guys to come pick them up, which would be a super big bummer. So please make sure that they don't have anything as well. Any questions on that? Bobby, do you want to do the packing list for us?
Of course. I'll do it because I'm the person we're talking to when we say this. I'm a notorious overpacker, ridiculously so. But my goal of this trip is a backpack. My fallback is a duffel bag. But as you'll see, the first thing on here is backpack or small duffel bag. So that doesn't mean a hockey bag. We've had kids try that on us before. But just a small one. Truly, there is not much they're going to need. They're going to live in their swimsuits. They're going to live in like the same shorts. I would say we have it pretty much on here, like 1 or 2 swimsuits. So if it's something happens to one, they have a backup, like 1 or 2 pairs of shorts for the lake, because if the one is wet and they don't want to be in wet clothes during program, things like that, where it's less is more on a trip like this. They're really going to be, there's not, like he said, there's not much to do other than be in the water. So it is going to be a lot of the same clothing the whole time. As for toiletries, I know specifically our girly pops in the ministry they love to do their whole hair makeup thing in the morning. That is a kindred spirit of me. So I get it. I'm not shaming them on that. However, electricity, we are saving it as much as we can for cooking, for necessities, things like that, so that we don't have to bring the boats back to the marina to refill on gas. We want to limit that as much as possible. So we'll have electricity, but we're trying to limit that. So there's really no reason to need to do a full hair curling, straightening in the morning. They're going to jump in the lake 10 minutes after getting up. So leave those things at home. They're not going to want to necessarily wear makeup, like that kind of thing for the girls. For everyone, showering, like Hannah and I have talked about this. That was the other staff member. We're literally going to put shampoo in our hair, jump in the lake. So it's freshwater lake. It is very much going to be a chill, don't need a lot of things for this trip. And we don't have that much space for full pieces of luggage. So we're trying to stay as light as we can so that we're not using more gas on those houseboats, getting them out to the shore where we're going to be in transporting all of this. So less. If they can do a backpack only, amazing, but a duffel bag is okay as well. But even more so than that, just like keeping space open so everybody has space to move around on the houseboats. We'll have activities indoors like coloring, things like that, so that if they need to get out of the heat, they can, but there needs to be space for that in the houseboats so we can move their luggage easier throughout the day and there's more room for everybody to have fun activities. But you'll see. You want to add something?
Please do not let your kid leave with a full-size suitcase.
Yeah.
Hard shell suitcase. Please, we just do not have room for that on this trip. And like she's saying, there's minimal need. You just need your swimsuit. You just need the basic necessities. Like, don't bring your entire house on this trip. Okay, it is a houseboat. Doesn't mean you should move in. Like, keep your stuff at home. Just bring it. Make it light.
Yeah. And I say it, I'm talking to a mirror. I'm already game planning in my notes app what my packing is going to look like so that I am speaking what I'm asking you to have your kids do. Or that I'm living it. But with that, you'll also see there's things like sleeping bag and pillow. They can bring the pillow with them on the van even if they want. They're probably going to want to sleep on that van ride. I'm sure the first hour they're going to be going crazy. By hour 5, they're going to be ready to pass out. So maybe even sooner. But there's sleeping bag, pillow, because even on the houseboat, sleeping is going to be like a fun. There's going to be some opportunity for some people if they want to sleep under the stars, similar like whitewater on the roof. There's going to be some camping opportunities, lots of fun, like variety, especially for kids who get seasick. If they're like, I cannot live on this boat 24/7 while we're here, we're going to have some tent options for them as well. So, but across the board, sleeping bag and pillow is going to be necessary. Same with like a flashlight, everything on that list as you go down. The biggest things that I want to mention as a fair-skinned girl who burns in 2 seconds in the sun, sunscreen is going to be huge. We will, of course, have sunscreen, but if 110, 120 students come with no sunscreen, we're not going to have sunscreen anymore. So send them with like 50, whatever it is that your kid needs in the sun. I would say even more so than that because they're never leaving the sun and the water reflects and all of those things. You guys know. If you can send them with liquid IV, we will be hounding the kids to be drinking water at any opportunity they can. But as we've learned, they sometimes just hate the idea of being hydrated. So liquid IV will be huge. Our medic will have some, but again, if we can save that for people who need it in a medical emergency moment, that would be ideal rather than giving it out because Susie forgot to drink water for 3 days, things like that.
Yeah. If your student's going, what should I bring? Monsters? Liquid IV? Kick them in the butt and tell them liquid IV, okay? They don't need any more energy. They're already, if you've seen Over the Hedge, they're like Hammy. They drink caffeine, the world stops. So they just need water. No C4s, no monsters, nothing like that.
Yeah, another thing you're going to see on here, there's an optional section. I'm not going to read through each individual one for you, but something we mentioned earlier was like water floaties, things like that. They can bring it from home if they can fit it in their backpack or duffel bag, or we'll be stopping also, like I said. And then there's also the option of bringing a collapsible fishing pole. So if you have a kid who's like all about fishing, there's going to be the opportunity to do that. However, they have to bring their fishing license in order to fish when we're there. So if we're going to ask them, like before they put the pole in the water, do you have it with you? And if not, we're not going to let them fish. So that would just say, that might not apply to everyone, but for those of you it does apply to, keep that in mind. But yeah, and then what not to bring, like we said, no phones, electronics, you're on water. So it's not going to be the best case scenario for an electronic device that costs maybe $500 or more. And we're not reimbursing you for it if something happens to it. So I would say just leave it at home. Same thing as, drugs, any handheld video games like Game Boys, anything like that. We're going to have activity for them. But there is this part of a camp or a mission trip or a retreat or anything like that where a kid looks at us and goes, I'm bored, but there's like 30 different activities to do. Those are a sweet moment for us to just look at them and say, then don't be bored. Let's go hang out and let's go do this. And it gives these leaders who are taking their week off work the opportunity to lean in with these students. They're getting time that is literally priceless to pour into the lives of your students in ways that they would never be able to on a Wednesday night or on a Sunday morning or Saturday night. So, yeah.
It is also just crazy when we push back push past the first barrier of I'm bored, your imagination starts to flow. I know that's crazy. Instagram's taking imagination away from us, but it's good for them to be bored every once in a while so that when they're like, I'm bored, it's like, yeah, this is how it was before you had something in your pocket to entertain you every 5 seconds. So good, be bored. Like, you're fine. Yeah.
Yeah, and then with that, there's just a beach chair is a big one. I think this is a camp where it would make sense in your brain, like, oh, okay, we'll bring foldable chairs or beach chairs. We're not bringing them. Same thing as the luggage. We just don't have the room for it. We want to have as much room possible for supplies, things like that. And they won't need it. We'll have some blankets out for them during program. They're gonna truly be in the water most of the time, but no beach chairs. It says no bad attitudes, things like that. If you know your kid and have to give them a little pep talk before we leave, we would love that and appreciate it. And then same as the electronics, no family heirlooms, anything that your kid will like or you will break down about them losing. Maybe just don't send them with it at camp. And then same fireworks, weapons, dangerous items. And then as much as I would love to bring my sweet little Shih Tzu named Luna, there are no pets or animals allowed as well. So classic camp do not bring list. But does anybody have questions about items that we said to or not to bring? Oh, absolutely. Please do. If you're, I don't know where it is. Dang it. I have a fun little device. You can get it on Amazon. So if your kid gets bug bites very easily, maybe you want to send them with one. It's a little, there's one that doesn't zap them, but there's also one that does. Mine is a zapper. You just put it on the bug bite and it zaps it and it stops it from itching because I'm like notoriously a scratcher, but I also don't know if I trust high schoolers with a zapper. It's not like crazy strong, but
it hurts. I'm not going to lie. You don't want to bring it.
That's crazy.
It hurts.
All right. It's not too crazy. It's like $20 on Amazon. But yes, bug spray, things like that. They love me. So maybe they won't even get your kid because they'll be getting me the whole time. So
yeah. No, I mean, no. Yeah, I guess at the church if they're going to want to run around and play football or whatever, but there's grass all over. So no, there shouldn't be anything there's no hikes or anything like that they should need.
And the shore we're going to be on is basically like clay dirt, so they're not going to want to have, it's going to be messy to have tennis shoes in that. Flip-flops will probably be the best, and sandals. Any other questions on that?
That's kind of the packet. So if there's, any questions about anything at all.
Here we go, right?
Yes.
Yes.
So we have 3 houseboats for each, 3 for the girls, 3 for the guys.
Yeah, and then we'll also have adults on each of those houseboats. Yeah. And then if they're on a tent, we have the same thing. It'll be separated.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, near the shore. Yeah. Good Lord. Yeah. I feel like I'm not worried about them running in the forest. I'm worried about them swimming into the middle of the lake where all the boats are going, so we'll have adults keeping eyes on them, but
yeah, we'll have like a perimeter of like, don't go past this point. Yeah. That's too far. But it's by the shore of the island we'll be on. Yeah. We'll be, just because numbers wise and it becomes a kid always feels left out or something goes weird, we'll be assigning them, but we are keeping them within their life groups. So we know they will want to, comfortability wise, also just like growth within their life group. They'll be with people that they know, but yeah. Any other questions?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that'd be helpful specifically for when we stop at the church. It's like, okay, we're going to take out the sleeping bag and the pillow, and then you just keep your toothbrush in a backpack or whatever. That way we don't have to get all the luggage out every time we stop at the church. So that would be, useful if we could do that.
Mm-hmm.
So if they could drop off their duffel bag with all the clothes and everything in it, their towel, whatever, and then the next day bring their backpack with like toiletries or whatever they, snacks and all that kind of stuff. And for that luggage drop off on Saturday, they can bring their sleeping bag and pillow if they're not going to use that pillow that night. Yeah.
And I would say keep the travel days backpacks smaller just because it's just in the van with them. But
So that's a good question. So there are mattresses on the houseboats, but there's limited amount. I don't remember what the exact number you said. We're going to be sleeping in beds.
I think it was exactly 16 beds inside of the houseboat.
Yeah.
Then there's the option of sleeping on top of the houseboat, which a lot of our students are actually really, my personal group is really excited about that. Sleeping under the stars style. If you're going to be one of those groups, which we're going to reach out and let the life groups know which groups are going to be what situation most likely, just so that leaders can let them know. That situation is going to be the one where you're probably going to want to mat the most. If they're intense, we're going to have air mattresses that will blow up for them. So,
yeah, not everybody's going to be fitting on the houseboat. Like I'd say percentage-wise, 85% to 90% are going to be on the houseboats, but there's going to be the 10 or 15% that are going to be sleeping on a tent. Maybe they just don't want to be in the water or it's overflow or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But yeah. Yeah, so we, right now, between 100 and 110 is what we're expecting, and then we'll have 35 leaders on top of that.
Yeah. Anything else? Any other questions? Yeah. Yeah, I would ideally say every student have the overnight items, like the necessities, in that little backpack with them on the van with their snacks and things like that, and then their main packed stuff in their luggage. If we can limit having to unload those trailers, it helps a lot because those trailers are going to leave before the students do in the morning, the day that we head to the lake, to get everything situated on the houseboats. Erin will be heading over there with them to get that done. So that just helps with that process. Anything else?
Sweet. Yeah, we're super excited. Yeah, I actually really want to talk to you after this because I'm super excited for this trip, but it is the first time 1112 is doing this in 15 years or something like that. So we're lucky to have Trav and Andy and Dave Enns with us.
Yeah.
They're going to be running the caravan and everything. So everybody's in good hands, but yeah, we're excited. And hopefully this is a trip that we get to do year after year. And your students get to be the first one to pioneer it 15 years later.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, nobody died, nobody got lost or anything. It's not why they stopped. Like Bobby said earlier, but just to clarify, when they're wakeboarding, when they're tubing, anything like that, they'll have everybody will have a life jacket, everybody will have a helmet. We're not going to be going 40 miles an hour, launching them off the tubes or anything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, one other thing, I'm stealing a note from Anthony's book on these meetings. This is one of the few times that we as the 1112 staff get to be in a room with all of you as parents. And I just want to I want to say thank you. Thank you for trusting your students with us. I was making a joke before this because I do know, having Anthony on paternity leave, having two in their 20-year-olds sitting in front of you answering questions about your kids' safety, I know it matters, and I know that it's something that I was joking with our staff, we are on the trial run adult package, and you guys are premium adults. You've paid for the premium package. You've been through some life, and so I want to just say that we are literally so honored to be able to care for your students for this week. And something that 1112 cares about a lot and North Coast cares about is partnering with you as the parents. So please be willing to bring any questions you have to us, even if they come up after this meeting to us. But more so than anything, please be praying for this trip. Our staff, if you have questions about this process, please come talk to us. But our staff is actually, every Thursday leading up to the trip, we're going to be praying and fasting for this trip specifically, and the safety for these kids, and what their heart shift looks like on this trip, and what their relationship with their leaders looks like at the end of this trip, and all of that. So it is something that is not taken lightly that you're letting your kids come with us. But we're so excited to be able to. I have a group of girls that I just got that are juniors, and I love them dearly already, and I cannot express how excited I am to have just days in a row to get to lean in and sit in a floaty and just say, oh, well, tell me why you feel that way about that, and just break through these walls of maybe how they're feeling in life and high school and all the things that are hard for them that I know I was really close to my mom, but even I wasn't willing to maybe share right off the bat, and then push them back to you and say, build that relationship with you so that it doesn't stop with us on this trip. I just thank you for trusting us with your kids. I don't have kids, obviously, at this point. I do have a little puppy dog. I love her with my whole heart. I got her in January, and it's the closest thing to being a parent that I think I can experience right now. But even when I've left her, it's a scary thing, so I can't imagine how you guys feel. But just know that is something that is of the utmost important to us, is their safety, but also their walk with the Lord on this trip. Yeah.
Sweet. If you need somebody to reach out to, you have the numbers on the back of the page, or I email you like every 5 minutes. So you have my email. And if you don't, I can get you there. Just know you're subscribing to emails every 5 minutes. But I'm just going to pray for us. If one last sweep. Any questions? Sweet. I'm going to pray. Oh, yeah.
One more? Yeah.
Yeah, so Hannah back there in the tech booth, she handles all of our social media and everything. So if you're following our Instagram or anything like that, she'll be posting, and yeah, you guys can follow along there. Any last question? Sweet. I'm going to pray for us and for this trip. So, Heavenly Father, God, I just thank you for, Lord, every person in this room who cares enough about their student, Lord, and about this trip, that we can come together and just pray about it beforehand. Lord, I just pray that, one, for the safety of every person, for the safety of the drivers and the students and on the boats and on the houseboats, Lord. But, God, I just pray that you move during this camp. Lord, I pray that your spirit is literally over the waters as we are over the waters. God, I just thank you for the opportunity that we get to go to Shasta. You've appointed every student, every leader to be here on this trip. We thank you. We love you. We pray these things in your name. Amen.